Hey guys, welcome to episode 15 of the Wibbly Wobbly Geeky Weekly podcast. I'm Joe.
And I'm Dave, and my neck hurts every time I think of Man of Steel.
Yeah, mine too.
Just go a little crick.
Yeah, got a crack in my neck, I think. So what's going on?
Not too much. Had a bad day, getting better.
Oh, I'm glad to hear. Well, I'm not glad to hear that you had a bad day, but I'm glad to hear it's getting better.
Bastard!
Anyway, um, hopefully, with everything that's going on right now, you should actually be able to do something that you weren't able to do last week. Can you figure out what it is? You can hear me.
Oh, damn, that means the show's not about just me anymore.
Yeah, well, no. Hopefully this week I won't sound like one of the adults from the Peanuts. No, for some we found out what it was. For some reason, the webcam microphone decided to override every other microphone on my computer. It basically hijacked everything. So,
Uh,
so what else have you been up to this weekend, sir? Anything good?
Not too much. Boiling, steaming, mostly. It's been humid, man.
It's actually been quite disgusting.
Yes, dude. Yesterday, I couldn't walk straight. I was just like walking around like a moist zombie.
You need to have any letters made
What?
wet? I'm just flashing back to Doctor Horrible. You need anything made wet? Maybe slightly dampened.
Conflict Diamond was going to set me up with bait and switch.
Yeah, I
How
ended up
about you?
getting
How have you been?
switch. Not too bad. Our basement flooded last night thanks to torrential downpours. Lost power at work for about 5 to 10 minutes. Thought I was going to get sent home, and then ended up having to work an extra 40 minutes. Um, and right now, I'm still keeping an eye on it because the rain is kind of hitting us sporadically. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a look at the radar while we talk.
How about you say just bring on the rain?
And yeah, my um, this is. I'm going to show you something real quick. These boxes that are here. Yeah, we had to quickly pick these up off the ground because the water was heading straight towards my comic collection.
You don't need those.
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, speaking
But
of comics,
you did see these behind me, right?
oh, you just reminded me of another story for today
Oh,
for our news.
oh, that's
I
okay.
think I start out with it when we get
Well,
going.
here's one. We saw this quite by accident. We were just flipping through TV stations earlier, and come across one of the Judge shows.
Yep.
Because a mother was upset with this kid's father, she decided to sell all of his comics, the son, without telling him. $3,000 worth of comics, and she sold it for $200.
Uh,
And she genuinely couldn't understand why the judge ruled in favor of the son. She's like, well, I did it so he would grow up. He goes, there's a way to tell them to grow up, and then there's a way not to.
you don't,
Guess which one you chose.
you don't steal that. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. $3,000.
uh, that kind of brings me to my story.
Oh, does it? Well,
I'm going to actually open with that story if we want to get into the
yeah.
news.
Why don't we go ahead and jump in? Go for it.
You remember a few weeks back the guy who was in his house and he was taking down some walls and found Superman #1.
Yes.
And it was in decent condition before his wife got a hold of it, grabbed it out of his hand and ripped it.
Yeah, he lost $75,000 off that one rip.
He still made a decent amount of money on it. He made like
Yeah.
100 grand.
Yeah.
Or 1 or 200 grand. Here's the thing though. After all that went down, he sold it at auction. He went back to work at his house, knocked down a few more walls. He found another. He found Superman issue 4, the first appearance of the Daily Planet.
We need to find this guy and take him out and just tear down his house.
Now, granted, this one was in crappy condition, but I want to know who's using comics as insulation.
You know what? Back in the day, they would. It helped save money. You got to think about the time these books were coming out.
Hmm.
You know, this is the time where they're sitting there saying, "Hey, it's a paper shortage. You like that comic? That's great. When you're done reading it, bring it over here so we can shred it and reuse it."
It wasn't shredded though. That's the problem. Somebody just like threw it back there. I don't want Mama to see it.
Yeah, but you know, he's sitting there going, "What else have I got?"
I'm pretty curious as to what he's probably going to tear that entire house down to find out if there's any more in there.
Could you blame him? I mean, really?
This guy's making more money finding comics in the walls than he is restoring the house.
Yeah, no shit. Well, I've got a piece of movie news here. Let me get the
Yeah.
right window open.
Ooh,
There we
starting
go.
with movie news.
Yes. Um, this comes from comicbookmovie.com. Legendary and Warner Brothers officially part ways.
I guess Warner Brothers finally saw Man of Steel.
Maybe, but I was like, Man of Steel co-financer Legendary Pictures has decided to part ways with longtime partner Warner Brothers Studios, as WB is reportedly seeking to take a more active role in development and financing of their DC Comics adaptations.
I don't have a real problem with this. As long as they get Andrea Romano to do casting and Bruce Timm,
We're
you
not
know,
talking, dude. This isn't the animated stuff.
I don't care. She did the best when it came to, casting.
Yes, for the animated stuff, which is where she works, and Bruce Timm is retired, except for
This is a myth.
being a creepy online guy in Man of Steel.
We're creepy online guys.
Anyway, um,
Which one of us has a girlfriend? Him.
it's true. But anyway, um, the main reason DC and Legendary have decided to split, Legendary has its own comics that it wants to start developing. Plus, they got Godzilla. And honestly, Legendary and Godzilla, I'm not nearly as nervous as I was the first time around. I still want to slap Matthew Broderick for that movie. And I like Matthew Broderick.
With a handful of worms. Slap him in the face with a handful of
I'd like
worms.
to throw some gumballs at him and see what happens. Anyway, so yeah, Legendary is like, look, we want to do that. Meanwhile, DC is like, well, you put up between 50 and 75% of the production cost, but yet you get between 50 and 75% of the money back.
Yeah.
Mate. So we're gonna go ahead and do our own movies. I mean, come on. We did Green Lantern. Why are you looking at me like that?
Okay. That was.
And you know what? That movie did not deserve the bile that it got. It was not a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
No, but
It was not as terrible as everybody
it
makes
took
it out
a
either.
huge mainstream villain, and you made him the first villain.
You mean Parallax?
Well, even if the movie did good, how are you going to top beating one of the most powerful villains out there in the GL universe?
Yeah. But they're. These guys also work together on the upcoming giant robot movie, Pacific Rim, which I so can't wait for this movie.
I want to see it myself.
Now when me and Paula go up on Thursday, not this Thursday, but the Thursday of the con to go up and get our badges and everything.
Yes.
We're gonna go up, go get the hotel room, go get some dinner, go get the badges. We're gonna watch a little TV. She's gonna go to bed at 11 o'clock. 11:30, I'm gonna head out, and I'm going to a midnight showing of that movie.
You wouldn't wait for me, huh?
No.
Don't want to wait for me.
No, I'm going to a midnight showing of that movie. I will see it again with you, but I am going to a midnight showing of that movie.
That's because I won't end up. Even if I do get to go, I won't be able to get there until the next day.
Well, what about you could still go see the movie with like Carlos and George and everybody.
Well, I'm not gonna be. No, I'm gonna be at Jamie's place that night,
Oh yeah, that's right. Shit.
and now she wants me to fucking cook for her.
You offered.
I didn't offer. I just
You
mentioned some of
did.
the.
You mentioned making a garbage plate, and they took you up on the offer.
No, I
So
mentioned
yeah,
making it for somebody else, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna buy this stuff, and you're gonna make it for me." You know how Jamie is.
yeah. Well, you're the one who brought it up. So whose fault is that? Eh.
Uh,
But
all right.
yeah.
Next,
So you said you don't have much of a problem with this with their split up.
no, because maybe it'll spawn, some new blood that'll actually, do something good with the DC franchise.
Well, again, granted, we're not fans of everything they did with Man of Steel, but it's not a total piece of garbage either. At the same time, look at what Legendary and Warner Brothers did with Batman.
Yeah, but they even end up screwing that up in the last movie.
To an extent, yes.
I
But
am
at the end of
every
the,
single of the Nolan one Batmans, almost the first two, I saw more than once in the theater. This one, I watched it and I was just like, eh.
yeah, oh yeah, no, and I understand that, but at the same time, you were never going to top The Dark Knight, and we all knew that. Um,
She
but
tamed my monster.
it's not like anything has flopped. God
You
damn
want to
it.
see the best rendition of The Dark Knight Rises? Go to collegehumor.com and look up Batman Can't Stop Thinking About Sex.
Or, um, Batman Doesn't Kill with Patton Oswalt as the Penguin. Throws a batarang right into the guy's eye. Dead.
He's
Look at
sleeping.
him. He's sleeping. He's all tuckered out from fighting with me.
Patton Oswalt made a convincing Oswald Cobblepot.
Oh, he really did. That was actually some creepy looking makeup. Anyway, I'm sorry. What was your next story?
Phase 3 has been uh, pushed forward. Starting with Ant-Man.
Well, how do you mean pushed forward?
Or
Yeah,
they
you
got
mean they
release dates.
Okay. I was about to say.
Their release dates have been pushed forward for Phase 3. Even though they're still working on Phase 2. You've got Ant-Man coming out first, followed by Doctor Strange, which was just announced, and it's a coin toss actually right now between Black Panther and a standalone Hulk movie again. I personally would like to see Black Panther.
It comes down to who's playing the Panther if I want to see it. Black Panther could be really good, but if you've got Mark Ruffalo playing Bruce Banner and they can get a good Hulk movie, I'd like to see the Hulk get one more shot.
Well, the Incredible Hulk wasn't bad. I liked that. It was a good movie.
I agree with you. A lot of people were not thrilled with that movie.
I don't see the problem. It looks a lot better than Ang Lee or whatever the hell his name was from Hulk, the first Hulk movie. Fighting giant rabid poodles. Ugh.
I still get a kick out of seeing that giant poodle. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just, it's not scary. It was funny.
Actually, the funniest scene
I
was
for
picked
some
up
odd reason, think that they weren't going for funny, but it was. It was
one of the
entertaining.
funniest things was two things. A, you got Hulk picking up one of the dogs and punching it in the balls. Picks it up by its back leg and just goes. And then you've got the Hulk in general. Who
Well, then, yeah, you know what? He punched one of the dogs in the balls. What's even worse is one of the dogs bit him in the balls,
Yeah.
which was even funnier.
They were going for cock and ball jokes for that whole. And here's the thing: the Hulk sucked for that entire movie.
Yeah,
First of all, they used the director for the motion capture, so the Hulk instead of green was yellow. By the way, don't get offended by that joke. It was just a joke.
It wasn't. Yeah, nah, that's.
Um,
Well,
plus the growing every time he got angrier. Okay, he grows one. He doesn't get bigger every time he gets angrier.
I mean, muscular wise, yes, maybe.
But not to
I've
where
never
he's
seen him
20 feet tall.
16. Yeah, between 16 and 20 feet tall. No. But yeah, no, I'd like to see both movies. But if they've got to choose, if you've got Mark Ruffalo,
Hmm.
one more try with the Hulk. One more try
I
with the Hulk.
liked him as I kind of liked him as old because he was because I just watched the Avengers again last night. It's on Netflix now.
Yeah,
Uh, he's just like he's very calm, very collected. But there's one scene that I really liked him in, and it's not the one you think where he says I'm always angry. It's that scene with Natasha in the beginning where
yes.
he scares the living hell out of her just to test her, to see what she'd do.
Like he scares her. Ah! I'm sorry, that wasn't
Like,
very
stop
nice.
loving me! And he's like,
And it
sorry.
just cuts to her. She's like, I'm going to die.
Uh,
You
for a
know,
master spy, she
I,
always has a lot of fear in her eyes.
I'll say this. I have one complaint about the Avengers, and it is with Scarlett Johansson. Not that she did a bad job or that she did anything wrong. She looked so much sexier with the long red hair.
And if they could have put it in pigtails, that would have been even nicer.
We have to put the show on hold for a few minutes.
Oh, oh
Anyway,
damn. That was
um,
fast and fresh.
and this just popped up on comic book movie. Excuse me. Um, we have our first look at the Michael Bay.
You
Excuse
okay?
me, I can't even say that name without choking. Oh, I coughed so hard I made myself dizzy. Um, we got our first look at the under construction turtle lair.
Uh,
You know what? I got to take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back.